Break it down like shotgun MTF. SWAT, special weapons, tactics here. Well, first we got a lot of things in the subject matter. IVF does range the gambit in CRISPR early end for ERDA, 42 ERDA, or 42 EDNES in the board factory. Some things within the bracketed series of histology here, the study of cells, tissues, organs, things that along those lines properly serve the overall model that says in a gene seed contract by soldier or civilian, it serves a better reason for the government and everybody at large to not have a problem with bilithin and betathin down there at some point in time in life. There are a few heretical conditions, equally like as sexually transmitted diseases. Once they pass certain thresholds, there's only so much you could do with it, whether it be CRISPR, in terms of genetic therapy to regulate to what we consider baseline. We don't want to have a domesticated turkey breeding problem now, do we? We got to have something that's sensible within the mandates of what is, instead of dumping it to a government bureaucratic nature that says anybody and their brother that as soon as they have a kid is going to have the hospital run up on them and start doing some CRISPR stuff whenever the fuck they found out about it, because she is definitely already pregnant. So in the womb levels of what sciences do we have that hack doctors are going to be cutting up on pregnant women? Is this done before the government says I can have a kid at all? Or they'll just alienate me and destroy me from a political standpoint before I get in, with the population the way it is. 300 million in America, as much as 10 billion, 8 billion, 6 billion, wherever we are to believe the input on world population. There. I don't know if that's an input. I don't have it in the African desert, and nor did we, other than the adjusted EBITDA for the notation Fourier, Hamming code, parity error, the fuzz, and the black hole. That's pretty close. Would I ever be okay with the sensor standards on what we do? But that's still to say that the sensor standards coming into the board factory, right, that sometimes it auto-dropped. It didn't cut off the bottom. Its amp limit changed or something, and, that made enough of a throw inside of there where it was a problem. You can imagine when this is a bell curve, right off to the top of it, between 8 billion here and 8 billion here. It wasn't like this was a slow, steady climb. No, and in like 5 or 10 years, this thing just went parabolic. Why? Well, I mean, governments across history forgot what they were doing, or babies under the Euphrates and scrolls buried in the Sphinx. Wendigo trials of Jesus coming through the area, be like, hey, maybe the church is coming through here. You got to adapt to the M27 when it comes to Sitting Bull's territory on the Black Hills. That's what it's going to be, picture Indian, whether you like it or not. Here's some officers on our end that are going to be here for a while before we go back home to Ava Braun, short of that being the early days of America pushing it through, what is Mexican territory at the time until lines are reestablished about finding cattle on the Indians' farm for Yellowstone. Well, you're going to have to make something. You just don't get those back. Your fucking team's not paying attention, and they walked across the field. Same goddamn brucellosis problem with the lymph system inside of here is the fucking problem. Louis Pasteur. Yeah. When you do click on some of these, and I used to be able to find a really nice black body about what it is globally. But, independently being able to click on these like your stock model and being able to see it is real nice too, because then I can look at that and kind of say, oh, well, it's having a good day on the Dow or the S&P and a Bitcoin rate inside here. But realistically, from any standpoint, given the overall population quintessence nature of China, of India, I do believe, and whatever America's population or Russia's population is going to say about what's going on in Africa at any one given time as far as the country or a natural landmass that might be broken down different. And again, 200 and some odd sovereign countries here. There are 50 states, 200 and some countries, 50 states, 435 representatives, because the way that's going to do what it does here correlates to the same table as why Africa is allowed at the UN meetings while dealing with the overall equator, grain belt, and things like that, while dealing with the Cancer and Capricorn equinoxes here, or what are they? Yeah, it's a different something. But at any rate, That's a lot of it. I mean, the equator's down here somewheres for what it does, and up here we're going to catch a 20. That's our winters normally. We have some Great Lake effects and stuff like that, and out there's a homeless secured population of MTFs that are allowed it in those seasons. There's nothing I can do about that as long as, some wild American being free wants to be outside there, then I can't say it's a zero certainty. At any rate, inside here, getting back to what this is.
Senator from Alabama.
Mr. President, I am proud today to be joining my colleague from Texas in support of the IVF Protection Act. I am grateful to Senator Cruz for his leadership on this important topic. Both Senator Cruz and I are parents. We can both attest to the fact that there is no greater blessing in life than our children. For many Americans, building a family, becoming a mom or a dad, that's their American dream. IVF makes the difference.
What does it? Again, you're not talking about what issues. And again, we're not making fucking Todd here. We're not making a super soldier for this next space war about what actually control you can have, again, before shunning the hell out of some regular civilians to say, I'm the government, they're gross, they're poor, you can't do their finances like this. And it's essentially a population control and geopoliticalism or geopopulism that's not necessarily more of a physics than it is a dark energy or dark matter calc. Still, satellite galaxies, stars, players, people, housing units on the U.S. Census Bureau for what it does here about your local towers and things like that to say, where am I pulling in for my National Guard? How am I integrating that in? Because it's the science. Especially when you do UN models of population, I1, I2, I3, human operations, count beans, and then different routing of what that is. It's the same math over and over again about people that have no right to have that much fucking power over that many fucking people in their neighborhood to sensibly break it down without some large masses of windfalls that come to BlackRock salmon over there, but here given Schrodinger's cat and people, the population of this frickin' planet, that we have survived already up to what models of histology anybody's going to say is in the pipes. Mine or anybody else's. Whether blue eyes, brown hair, what, you can control that? Well, that's great, and that's fantastic for somebody who can fucking afford it and wants to burn their money like that to put it in the generational wealth of their kid. But don't fucking put that on me, that my genome system now needs to be chopped up by you before I have a fucking kid.
We're going to have a show vote when we've been talking and saying that we want to protect access to IVF.
No, you control it from the hospital because you own the hospital. Nobody's willing to audit the hospital to really check into the x-ray machine to how much it's already been paid off and how many times it's been paying into this system to fucking pay for people.
This bill, the IVF Protection Act, should be the one that's on the floor today. This is the bill that will give
apparently that's a crack at me, but I should be the dead one, huh?
That their dreams of bringing
I was regular 40K. How about you? I mean, your life, liberty, and happiness is more important than mine, so you can snuff mine out?
They can bring a child into this world.
Because what do? Are you in the maternity ward actually doing this calculation? If you've gotten it from the maternity ward, let's hear about the conditions that the IVF would be useful for.
In that way, it's drafted to be a partisan scare tactic. And what we're going to see today.
Because you got to go Vitruvian baby. What is the key systems in here? 23 chromosomes that they're going to start chopping up. And what do they believe the answer is? That it's what? More beneficial to diseases and stuff? Because what? You don't ever want to take a sip out of the... You don't ever want to go fuck outside or what?
People deserve better. The path forward is Senator Cruz and my...
Yeah, there was a good story about a Vulcan coming around about smashing some orc, getting in the office about, well, I tried the Sisters of Battle and I stabbed his ass anyways after I had him linked in there, because that's how they do.
While Democrats prioritize scaring families, Republicans...
it's a lot about, what happens if we all don't have 2 kids and you don't maintain the population, 8 billion on the planet. It doesn't matter what fucking point you put that, 10 billion, 5 billion, 4 billion, 500 million. 2 kids. Maybe 3 or sometimes 1 because you lost one and it mixes it up in the pipes.
Mr. President, I want to thank my friend Senator Britt